gun people. This is an interesting shooting. Luckily, this guy isn't white or he'd probably be in trouble. He's off duty. Kind of looks like a thug with all his tats and everything. I'm kind of surprised he carries his badge around his neck when he's off duty. I mean, I carried a badge in my pocket, but usually didn't see my badge when I was off duty. I wouldn't carry it. When I worked, because I was plain clothes, I had it around my neck. But this guy's off duty in his personal car. He gets in a road rage incident. He says the guy pulls a gun, and he ends up shooting into a car with a lady and a kid. The lady's hit. The kid isn't hit. And the suspect is hit. And then other cops come, and they end up shooting him more. So let's take a look at this.
Occurred. The second shooting involved Officer Luis Serrato in this video, but will duty and responded to the initial shooting. Both shootings will be presented together in this video, but will be in only 12:33 a.m. The dispatcher, he was involved in a shooting.
Police fire.
Hey, off-duty APD, APA 063, I've shots fired.
Officer Gutierrez was not.
Okay, so he gets on there quick for dispatcher. Hey, man, I'm off duty. I don't need to hear your bullshit about address. Let's get down to business. So when cops call dispatch, they tend to talk a little bit different. So he gives his AP, which is probably his badge number or his CAD number. Some agencies use your badge number for a CAD number, others don't. So when they need to log an officer in, if I was off duty and I saw something and I wanted to run a plate for some reason, I would call dispatch and go, hey, 721, can you log me in? CAD 018. And I just thought of my CAD. I mean, off the fly. That was my CAD, but I haven't said that in freaking years, but it came up because I've done it so many times. So 721 CAD 018, can you log me in? I need you to run a plate. And they go, okay, you're logged in. And then I'd run the plate. So by him doing this, he didn't say it in that way, but that's probably what dispatcher's doing. Dispatcher should have went, okay, this is so-and-so. Now I've started a log, and I know that this number is assigned to Gutierrez.
Not on duty at the time and was driving his personal vehicle. It was captured on a security camera from a nearby apartment complex and on cell phone video. Captured on a.
So in this footage, I can't tell who pulls up next to who. The cop, and I initially thought, and I still think, the cop ends up pulling next to the guy and shoots him after he pulls a gun, which diminishes his fear of the guy. If the guy pulled a gun, why did you pull up next to him? Because he wanted to badge him and shoot him. Whereas if a guy pulled a gun, why didn't he get behind him, call dispatch, and say, dude, I'm following a car. He could have still logged on. I'm following a car. Here's the license plate. Dude just pulled a gun on me. And let the unit stop him. But I think he pulled up. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see as it develops.
Security camera from a nearby apartment complex and on cell phone video. After the initial shooting incident, Officer Gutierrez called 911 and requested APD and EMS. He remained on the phone until on-duty APD units arrived. In Officer Gutierrez's account of the incident to Austin 911, he said that he was driving and turned southbound onto the 2500 block of Wickersham Lane.
Austin 911, do you need police fire?
Hey, off-duty APD, APA 063, I've shots fired, 2400 Wickersham Lane.
2400 Wickersham Lane?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how many did you hear?
What's that?
This dispatcher's an idiot. This dude's excited. You could tell he's been in a shooting. He said he's got shots fired. And he goes, how many rounds did you hear? So the dispatcher assumes that this officer just heard gunshots and is calling this in this excited. To me, it was obvious that he was involved, but the officer wasn't that clear.
How many was it?
I have a victim, the driver, the other vehicle, he has a gun. I'm not shot. I need EMS over here.
Been bringing them on.
So this is just a stupid system, typical government bureaucracy. I'm bringing them on, so we have to call another dispatcher to get on the line, and she has to say, what's the address of your emergency? Can I help you? One person can't do it. This used to be one person doing this, and because of government growth and whatever else, we need to hire more people and get more dispatchers and more government. Let's create new jobs and have fire dispatchers, let's have ambulance dispatchers, and let's have police dispatchers. Pretty soon we'll have trash dispatchers and politician dispatchers, and it's just crazy.
Ambulance, what is the address of the emergency? Ambulance, what is the address of the emergency? EMS is an officer. He's at 2400 Wickersham Lane. Is it 2500 Wickersham?
Now.
100 at the High Point apartment.
No, I'm sorry. 2500 with the Chamberlain. 2500 in the street. Hey, drop your gun. Austin police. He's moving. He's got a gun in his hand.
Okay. We're gonna stage for officers to.
No.
So, again, we're talking different dispatchers. The ambulance dispatcher is saying we're going to stage. But you got two dispatchers on the phone and an officer involved in a shooting. He's got no communication. He's trying to hold an armed suspect, and he's on the phone. And you have two freaking dispatchers safe in their office arguing on who's going to stage and who isn't. Now, we know, or I know, when he says we're going to stage, they're talking about the ambulance. They're not going to stage officers. I mean, no cop is going to think dispatcher's going to stage officers when you got an off-duty officer involved in a shooting. They're going to come in.
Don't say it. I'm APD. He's got a gun in his hand. I need officers now.
Yeah.
I'm an Austin police officer.
APD is on the way. EMS is gonna stage.
Yeah. EMS needs a stage.
Okay.
So he's a little excited. He's kind of, again, it's confusing and it's a rapidly evolving situation. That's why mistakes happen. That's why cops are giving this large umbrella of discretion and abilities to what is reasonable in his mind at the time he acts and with everything going on.
In Officer Gutierrez's account of the incident to dispatch, he stated that the car cut him off. Officer Gutierrez said to the dispatcher that the driver had a gun and had pointed it at him. Mr. Gonzalez was driving the vehicle. Inside with him was a female passenger and an infant child. At approximately 12:33 a.m., Officer Gutierrez's vehicle stops as Mr. Gonzalez's vehicle moves along the left driver's side.
Oh, okay. So he does pull over and stop, and a guy pulls next to him. So I was wrong. I don't know how I got the other one. I thought somewhere I saw that he was the one that pulled up. So him stopping, the guy pulls up to him. If he sees the gun when he's up there, that's why he shot. He ends up shooting a passenger. The idiot pulls a gun on him and, showing off in front of his girlfriend and his baby that he has a gun, and now he gets his girlfriend shot, and I think he gets shot.
The cars aligned momentarily. Then, at approximately 12:33 a.m., Officer Gutierrez fired multiple shots into the vehicle. Mr. Gonzalez.
You can see the gun flashes right here. I'm going to go back while he's talking. You'll see the flash right here. So let me just go back 10 seconds.
3 a.m., Officer Gutierrez fired multiple shots into the vehicle. Mr. Gonzalez's vehicle then moves out of frame. Officer Gutierrez's personal vehicle stopped on Wickersham Lane at the...
Okay, so he pulls over. The guy pulls up next to him, has a gun. He fires multiple rounds. He's going to say he was in fear of his life. The guy had a gun. The woman got hit. Tough luck. She shouldn't have been in the car with a guy pointing a gun at the cops or pointing a gun at anybody. So, look, and of course the driver's going to say, hey, he pulled a gun, or I thought he had, if he lived. I don't know if he dies or not. It says fatal shooting, so I don't think he does. I know the woman ends up living, and the baby wasn't hit.
The rear of Mr. Gonzalez's vehicle that had stopped and was straddling the curb. Officer Gutierrez continued to describe his version of the events to the dispatcher.
Police,
Okay.
put your gun down, man. Let me see your hands. Hands up, man. EMS is coming. Put your hands up.
So this is different cell phone footage. You could tell by the way he parked. He's a cop. He put his car like in a traffic stop position. He's using the engine, has cover. If this guy shoots, he's behind the door and behind the engine, and he's shooting over his hood. So, I mean, fairly good tactics for the dude off duty for his personal car.
Hey, hands up, man. He's hanging out the door. He had a gun in his hand. There's a passenger. She's lying on the ground, female passenger.
Okay, so tell me exactly what happened.
Dude, are you serious? This dispatcher wants to freaking have a conversation. I'm in the middle of a crisis. I got one at gunpoint. I've got no backup, and you want me to have a conversation with you? Man, I'd have been like, I ain't talking to you. Get the damn cops here. We'll deal with it. I just can't believe this dispatcher wants to have a freaking conversation about this. Dude, he's got an armed suspect out there by himself at gunpoint, and you want him to start talking to you? I mean, this guy shouldn't even talk to him, but whatever.
It was a road rage incident. I was driving and he cut me off and he pointed a gun at me.
Okay, is anybody injured?
Yes, the driver, the other.
Didn't he say somebody's on the ground, the woman's on the ground, and he shot multiple rounds? I mean, how does that change? He's already got ambulance. See, this is where dispatchers just go into auto mode. I got to ask questions. I got to ask questions. I got to ask questions. I got to find out. And so this dispatcher's in auto mode instead of thinking he wouldn't do this if a cop was on a radio and called in, he would not be doing this. And just because he's on a phone, the dispatcher needed to disengage a little bit and go, dude, he's in a crisis. I need to shut the hell up, clear the air, and just let him talk and give me information when he feels he can.
Vehicle, he's shot. Put your gun down. Austin police, put your gun down.
Austin police.
Don't make me shoot you again, man.
Okay. Probably shouldn't have said that on audio, but I mean, again, it's not the end of the world. It's not like, man, I want to shoot you again. Go ahead and give me a reason. But again, you got to pick your words because it'll be used against you.
It's the police. I don't know if the passenger shot or not. She's lying on the ground.
Okay, that's all right. We do have APD dispatch on the line. If y'all want fire resources as well.
Yes, sir. My AP is 8063.
80.
Hey, just keep your hands up, man. Lie down on the ground and keep your hands up. Okay, the female passenger, she's lying on the ground. She's saying, my baby, my baby, my baby. The driver, he's standing. He's got blood all over his face. He's standing. I don't know if he's still got the gun in his hand or not.
Okay, so he tells dispatcher she's yelling, my baby, my baby. Who thinks that maybe there's a baby in the car from those comments? I mean, most idiots would even think there's a baby in the car. Dispatcher doesn't pass that on to the cops because when they show up, they fill that freaking car full of lead with no regard for a baby in the car. Bad move. Government accountability. They should not have filled that car full of lead with a baby in the car, in my opinion.
Okay. Is there a baby involved or is she pregnant? Do we not?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. She's just saying my baby. I'm not approaching the vehicle. I'm standing behind my vehicle.
I understand.
All right, there's units coming right now. There's units coming right now.
Do you know if he's awake and breathing?
Yeah, he's standing up right now.
Okay.
Hey, put your gun down, man. It's the police.
As soon as a unit gets there, I'm hanging up. I'm not staying on the freaking line. This guy's kind of a little bit in shock. He knows he's off duty. He hasn't done this before. It's not routine. I think he even asked the dispatcher, can he hang up because they're here? But I would have just got off the damn phone and I'm not going to sit there and have a conversation with you. I want two hands on my gun. You can ask all the questions you want. I'm going to shut the hell up so I can deal with the situation until the cops get here.
Our units are here. Can I disconnect?
Yeah, I'll go.
Don't reach in your pocket. Don't reach in your pocket. Not reach in your pocket.
On January 5th at 12.
So, sometimes when you call in off duty, the cops know you're off duty. Sometimes they don't. I don't know if they recognize him. I don't know if the dispatcher told him. But when cops show up and I got my gun out when I was off duty, I made sure they saw a badge. So I was holding my badge in one hand and my gun in the other when cops showed up. I didn't want no confusion that I was the guy with the gun.
12:37 a.m., Officer Serrato responded to the 2500 block of...
And he might have just put his badge up right there.
At 12:37 a.m., Officer Serrato...
It's a little late because they're already running up, but I think maybe right here, maybe he's holding his badge up right now. I can't tell.
Responded to the 2500 block of Wickersham Lane in a marked patrol vehicle wearing his department-issued uniform.
Okay, so the reason why they're doing this press briefing and making it seem like this, and they're concentrating on the uniform, they're going to say this guy and the family's going to say he shot this guy because he wasn't in uniform, didn't know he was a cop. So they want to make clear that these guys were in marked units and fully marked uniforms. So he still didn't follow directions. He was still being a dumbass, even when uniforms were there, which would corroborate that he was probably being a dumbass before. But, you know, totality of circumstances. Here's the woman, and she's yelling, my baby.
Officer Serrato and Officer Neno were the first on-duty APD officers who responded to the scene. This portion of the incident was captured on body-worn and dash camera video.
Okay, so when there's just one officer, I mean, I've helped officers on when I was in plainclothes or stopped or pulled over just to help a cop that looked like he was in trouble when I was working. So when I'm plainclothes and there's one guy, I'll help. But once the second unit gets there, I would have probably backed up. I don't have a vest on. I didn't wear a vest most of the time anyway. I was in plainclothes. But it's just usually better to disengage and create some distance and let the guys in uniform handle it instead of you staying involved. Not only were you just involved in a shooting, but a lot of times you get this tunnel vision, you can't back away. Again, I've said this several times. Our policy in our auto theft task force, because we got a lot of pursuits, whoever was the pursuing vehicle, the primary dude, when we got the guy stopped and had to take him to custody, he didn't handle the guy. The other guys on the team would handle it because they weren't invested and started in it and theirs, and there was less chance of getting emotionally attached and that, you know, you're pissed off, this guy endangered your life. Others, you know, if there was an accident, somebody got hurt, you're mad at the dude. It becomes personal. So in this situation, it's personal. This guy pulled a gun. He just had to shoot him. The quicker we can get him out of the picture, the better. And let more reasonable officers handle it. Okay, so they're yelling Manos Arriba. That's hands up. I mean, they teach that in academy for Spanish. Hands up, don't move, no se mueva. Just certain little terms on how to deal with people with weapons. No armas, no guns, no armas, no weapons, no weapons. So they're saying Manos Arriba is hands up. Manos a la cabeza is hands on your head. Those are, I think, the only ones I really remember. Maybe Dante, or where you going, or Silencia means be quiet. Callete means shut up. No se muevo, don't move. So emergency Spanish is usually taught. If you're working in a high Spanish area, you pick up from the Spanish officers, always dealing with Spanish people, so you'll pick up things. So they're giving commands in both Spanish and English, which is really good, because this defeats that the guy didn't understand you and I didn't know. And since they don't know whether he can understand, it's good to give them both. So cops are doing a pretty good job here. So this officer finally says, get back. I think that was a good move. Let the two uniforms handle it. Get a third guy out of the way. You know, and this guy needs to be aware that if other cops are pulling up, they may not know he's a cop and stuff and see another guy behind these guys with a gun. He needs to be aware of that too, because other cops are still responding. We got an officer involved shooting. Now, this guy instinctively unloads his gun. I wouldn't have done that. That's not a good move. And again, he's probably thinking, okay, they've got it secure. This guy, this is not a secure scene. This guy's still up. He's still a threat. He could shoot one of these guys or both these guys. I'm not unloading my freaking gun. But this guy went into auto mode. I'm going to make my gun safe and lay my gun down. Maybe in case some of the cops come here, I don't want to get shot. I'm not sure what his thought process is. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't train this. And if I was training people in this video, I'd say, this is a mistake. Don't ever unload your freaking gun. You may put it in your holster. You may get behind this vehicle and keep it at a low ready. I wouldn't even mind if you walked to the rear of the vehicle and laid it on the hood, because then you've got cover and you can pick it up. But to unload it, bad move in my opinion.
Hands up! Go now! Hands up! Hands up! Manos arriba! Hands up! Don't reach! Do not reach! Do not reach!
So now he has no gun. Where's his gun? I think he unloaded, either laid it in his seat or put it on the hood of the car. I'm not standing around in front of a suspect that pulled a gun behind him with no gun. That's just me.
Your gun! No! Don't reach! Don't reach! Put your hands up! Walk! Turn around! Walk! No, keep walking! Walk away from the car! Go!
Hear the sirens? Could be an ambulance. I'm assuming they still have cops rolling. These guys have not gone code 4. They haven't secured the scene. They haven't said one in custody. They haven't gained, there's no radio traffic. So everybody knows, dispatcher knows, hey man, we need to keep units rolling until we figure out what the hell's going on. Now, the other guy could have gotten a car and got on the radio. 2 officers still at gunpoint. Suspect isn't complying. Continue officers. Situation still unstable. that would have been good intel if he was thinking to do that. But again, he was just in a shooting, so that may have not been his thought process.
Turn around! Turn around! Stop! Also! Also! No! Stay on the air! No, don't reach! Do not reach! Reaching!
Okay, this shooting part right here is, I'm a little on the fence on this. Is it going to be justified? Yeah. But I don't think they needed to pump all these rounds in this dude because he's reaching. They got distance. They could move back. They could wait till he produces a gun. He looks like he's stumbling. He could be bleeding out or shot. If dispatcher told them she was yelling, "My baby," he could be reaching for a baby. I mean, I don't know if they can see the car seat, if the kid's in a car seat, if you can see a car seat and he's reaching the car seat, doesn't mean there's not a gun. I get it. But shooting people for reaching when you haven't had any communication with them, you don't know if they're deaf, you don't know if they understand, you don't know what their thought process is, just to open up on them, yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
I do not reach! Hey! Also! Over here! Also! Do not reach! Do not reach! Also!
Okay, I slowed it down, and I think I counted 10 rounds because he reached. Is that justified? I know the cop lovers will be here. Absolutely, officer safety. He should have listened to the commands. It's his fault. The cops were perfect. Other people will be like, cops shoot too fast, and it was totally unjustified. I think legally, it's going to be, this guy gave them plenty of commands. He had already pulled a gun. They have information that he has a gun. An officer already shot at him. There's a person on the ground. We don't know. We haven't had any communication with him. He looked at us. He's not following directions, and he reached into the car, possibly retrieving a weapon. Is the shoot justified? Man, when I was working, we would not shoot people just for reaching. Now, if we saw a gun and he was reaching for the gun, probably I'm okay with that then. But so far, nobody's seen a gun. And he's reaching in the back seat. The gun was found in the front passenger seat. Now, cops didn't know that. But again, is it reasonable to shoot that many times because a guy reaches in a car when you haven't seen a weapon? You know, whatever. Another officer. Now we got another officer showing up, and he shows up and he hears all these gunshots going off. So what's his mindset? Shit, this must be bad. Somebody's on the ground. The guy's shooting. How this kid did not get a freaking round, I don't know. But the report said the kid was unharmed. I
don't see anything in the car right now.
Still have units coming in the background?
The passenger was lying on the ground outside of the passenger side of the car, screaming during the incident. Officer Gutierrez gave verbal commands to Mr. Gonzalez in English. As officers approached, they continued to provide commands to Mr. Gonzalez, who was now outside of his vehicle at a nearby towards the other APD units that responded to the scene. Passenger side of the vehicle. Gonzalez opened him. Shots were.
Put your hands up! Hey! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands.
Now the guy that ends up shooting this is his body cam, and he's screaming and almost sounds a little jacked up or out of control. Is that bad or good? I mean, look, the guy's at a high risk incident. He's jacked up. Is that going to play negatively that he shouldn't have shot and he was too jacked up and he should have calmed down? And wait a minute, my favorite, he needs more training.
Hands up! Manos arriba!
Got a gun in the driver's side.
Manos arriba!
I think I see two hands here. One hand here and one hand here.
You pointed it at me.
Manos arriba!
Want me to get back or no?
Yeah, get back, get back.
Okay. I have my gun. I'm gonna put it up, okay? Turn around!
Manos arriba! Put your hands up! Do it now! Put your hands up!
So we saw this from the distance.
Put your hands!
I'm going to bump it where he walks around.
Away from the car! No, don't reach!
Do not go on the
Do not reach! He's reaching. Hey, do not reach!
And I'd like to know if the woman was shot on the first volley by the off-duty officer, and was she shot on this second volley by the on-duty officer? Because both of them fired multiple rounds in that vehicle.
Here! Do not reach! Do not reach! Cover your head!
Secured the shooting and rendered aid to the passenger. At 12:46 a.m., EMS arrived at the scene. At 12:51 a.m., Mr. Gonzalez was pronounced deceased at the scene.
So normally they don't pronounce them deceased at the scene. Normally they wait till they get to the hospital. So that's kind of different.
The passenger was injured from
Multiple gunshots. From the first volley or second volley or both.
gunshots and was transported to the hospital where she was treated for her injuries. An infant child was discovered in the vehicle on the rear passenger side in a car
Exactly where the guy was reaching.
seat. The child was unharmed and was transported to the hospital by...
Wow. Okay, so, I mean, look, good shooting, bad shooting, we don't know. The guy didn't have any body cam when he shot the first time. They did find a gun in the car. That helps. I'm sure the mother's not going to be what we call a friendly witness, but maybe she will. You know, if they can get to her quick, they might be able to get her to say, yeah, he was on drugs, he's been crazy, he's been talking about killing a cop and blah. That would be a great statement if she gave that. But if she says, you know, the officer pulled the gun first and then my boyfriend pulled a gun after he saw the gun to defend me and my baby, and it was the officer's fault, now somebody's got some explaining to do. All right, we'll end that there.